Hello friends, and welcome to another episode of the Urban Homesteading Channel, Midweek Edition. If this is the first time you're visiting with us, we want to extend to you a very warm welcome and invite you to watch any of our over 550 videos that we have arranged for your convenience in playlists, as we are confident you're going to find something both useful and entertaining to watch. If you have been here before, welcome back. If today is your birthday, I want to wish you a very happy birthday. It is unavoidable if you have a house, a home or an apartment, wherever you live, to come in contact with some electrical work. From changing a light bulb, to wiring an outlet, to fixing something minor like a doorbell. And many people have a fear of electricity. Would you agree, Ms. Wizard?
Yeah, well, at least of working near electrical things. Yeah.
And while a multimeter is a very good tool to have, many people don't even know how to use the multimeter, or because it has prongs that they're required to put inside receptacles. A lot of people are very nervous about that process. So there is a tool that I believe every homeowner should have for electrical work, and we're going to talk about this tool, how we're using it, and why it is important to have it. So stick around. And here is the tool we're talking about. It is a contactless voltage testing device, and as the name implies, there are no prongs, there is nothing that we need to insert anywhere. This device detects electricity and can give you basic information about your electrical system and ensure that a circuit is off before you work on it, right?
Yes.
Now there are many brands of them, and you can buy a good one from around $11, or you can go to Fluke or some brand name and spend $100. It's up to you, right? Like any equipment, regardless how much it costs, first you need to test it before you use it. Make sure that it is correct, right? That it reads what it's supposed to read. Once you do that, I found this to be very, very reliable and a very useful tool. This specific one, it's a Southwire. We're not sponsored by Southwire, and it is a very good little device, but I've owned a couple of other ones in the last few years, and they've all been very good. I don't think that the brand is as important. It has a very intuitive usage, which makes it very easy for everyone, unlike a multimeter that you need to understand ohms and volts and resistance and all those things. In other words, it's a very good tool to have, but you need to have some knowledge in order to use it effectively, right?
Mm-hmm. So what do you look for when you're thinking of purchasing one?
Well, they all look about the same. This one happens to have a neat little feature, and at least I think is a neat little feature, and that it has a flashlight.
Oh.
Not all of them do that. And if you work with electrical, sometimes you have to turn the fuses off. It's nice to have this, right? Mm-hmm. Also, this one goes from 12 volts all the way to 1,000 volts. You see where it says 12? It's the button here.
Yeah.
All the way to 1,000 volt. As we know, the voltage that comes in our walls in the US is 120, but the voltage that comes to our outside box is actually 240. And there are devices in your house like your range and your, is it the dryer or the washer?
Yeah, it's a dryer.
Which are 240, right? Mm-hmm. So how you use this device? First of all, of course, you have to turn it on, right? Most of them are the same way. They will have a switch. On this specific one, you need to hold it. And you saw the green light came on,
right?
Telling you that it's on.
So it's ready.
Yes, and also this will vary from manufacturer to manufacturer. I like the auditory signal, so you need to press it again until you hear it. Right? Mm-hmm. So now when it detects current, it's going to tell us.
It's going to make the sound?
Right, and it will change from green to red.
Okay.
So let us demonstrate. So here we are in a typical house switch. This happened to be a 2-gang switch, and all we have to do is go close to it, and you can both see it changes color and it beeps, right? Mm-hmm. Until you go away from it, and now we're to green and it doesn't make sound anymore.
Right. So why is the light switch making that? Why is it making that sound at this light switch?
Well, this light switch actually is wired incorrectly. We didn't talk about that. You expect it here because usually from the underside is the feed to the switch, right? Mm-hmm. So you expect this to be live. So this is normal. What is not normal is this.
Ah,
Because when the switch is off, this should be off. It shouldn't have power.
right.
And we'll demonstrate that in a little bit, but we're going to use a lamp because every switch in this house is actually wired incorrectly by having the neutral interrupted versus the hot. So everything is always hot. The switch still works because there is no electrical return.
And by hot, you don't mean temperature hot, but
No.
live hot.
Right. The hot wire is the wire that brings the electricity in, and the neutral is the one that takes it away. In order for anything electric to work, you have to have that circle closed. If you open it anyway, the hot or the neutral, you will stop the function. The light will turn off, right? But if you turn the switch off and go and change the light bulb, in our house, all fixtures are going to stay live. So you can potentially be electrocuted, which is not a pleasant thing to happen to you.
No. But it's good that you can detect that with this gadget.
Right, and it was unexpected when we first moved to the house. I don't know if you remember, we had to fix something on a fan, I believe. And that was the first time I figured that out. And I was trying to figure out why I wasn't turning it off.
Right. Well, we were installing a ceiling fan,
Right.
which we've done many times before, but this one seemed different.
Because it was live always.
Right.
And this little tool helps you avoid the nasty shock, right? So it is a nice little tool, and I will show you another way that we use it in a normal receptacle. So this is a US typical receptacle, and we have the little smiley face with the bottom one, the semicircle one, being the ground, and that should never be hot, right? And then we have a short and a long one. And if you look at a plug, there is usually a short and a long one, right? The short is always the live one or the hot one, or the black one if you want to go by color. And the long one is the neutral or the white one. So if we go here, we would expect a green there, and as you can see, that's green. And we would expect a red there, and as you can see, immediately turn red. And you can see, even though those are very close, this knows the difference, right? You can see that it detects the hot, and it knows that this is not hot. And of course, there is not going to be anything there. So this is a very easy way. If a device stops working, instead of calling an electrician and spend, I don't know how much money to just come and check your receptacle, you can do it yourself. If the small one gives you a signal, then you know that this is working okay, right? Now, if they are reversed, sometimes things won't work. So if the long one gives you the red signal, then you know this is a bad wired receptacle. Does that make sense?
So this one, in this case, is wired correctly.
Well, the receptacles are correctly wired throughout the house. Are the switches? The switches are the ones that are incorrectly wired. So we're going to show you how to check a switch by going to one of our lamps, because again, no switch in this house is correctly wired, and show you how you're going to check that there is no electricity through a switch. So here we are in one of our lamps, and we know it is plugged in because when we go close to the cable here, you can hear it, and also we know there is a wire here, because again you can hear it, right? Now, this lamp right now is off. You can see it's off, right? And if we go here, there is no sound, and you can see it's green, right?
Yep.
Because the switch which is there has interrupted the power of the electrical flow. If we turned it on, I'm going to unplug it so it will not blind you. But even though this is unplugged, it is live, right? And how we know it's live? You hear it?
What did you touch exactly to make that happen? So that you are doing it.
What do you mean?
What are you touching with your
I'm
detector?
going on top of the switch. The switch is here.
At the switch.
Yeah, the switch is here. And now it tells us it is live. Put a little a piece of cloth here, because otherwise the circuit doesn't close. So you can see the lamp is on, and you can hear. You cannot see it, but you can hear the sound, right? So if we turn the light off, you see it stays green, and we hear nothing.
Yep.
And you know this is on the same spot. So past the switch, when the switch is off, there should be no electricity moving past the switch. Unless the switch is incorrectly wired. If you put the switch on the neutral, then it's going to be, it will have power. It can still zap you. So this is a very useful tool and a very good way to ensure your safety in your home electrical work. So here we are, we had a small demonstration of how to use this tool. But Ms. Wizard, why is this a useful tool? Why we need one? And I think every homeowner needs one of this.
Well, what does it tell you when you have a lamp that doesn't behave the way we expect it to behave with this device? What does it tell us?
If a lamp is hot always, in other words, if the switch of the lamp is off, but the lamp is hot, right? That makes the lamp very dangerous. And if for some reason you have a fault in your grounding, potentially you can get electrocuted simply by touching the lamp. Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So this is a great safety device.
Yeah. And so the red and the beeping indicates hot.
Correct.
And there are times, as you demonstrated, that it should not be hot.
Correct. When you are on one side of the switch, you will always have hot, right? Mm-hmm. Here on the house, usually on the underside, you will always be hot. Because electricians routinely put the power from under and then go up to go to wherever they are going to switch. Mm-hmm. So in one of the two sides, even if you have a very crazy electrician, not as crazy as ours though, one of the two sides when the switch is off should be off. You should not detect any power. Mm-hmm. For example, what happens if that is routine? Let's say this switch always was doing that, but now it doesn't. That could indicate a bad switch. So it's a very good diagnostic tool. You know? Mm-hmm. It can help us find out. Or in this case, we know we want to change those switches because they're not the right color. They don't match the plate, right?
Right.
Well, we know that this is hot now. So if I go and I will have to go and turn my fuses off, my breakers off, to make sure it's safe for me to work here.
Definitely. I mean, that's a safety thing. If you've got live switches or outlets, you've got to turn the power off to those switches and outlets before doing any work.
And I always do it first here, but then when I remove the screws, I always do it to the wire. I will touch the wire directly to make sure that we are good, right? Mm-hmm. In case an electrician uses black for wire and white for black. In other words, it can be, the switch could be correctly wired, but the color coding is incorrect. So this is a contactless voltage detector. This specific one detects both DC and AC. For mine, when you want to go to DC, you have to press this second button that says 12 volts. Some of them are auto switching. Especially if you get a more expensive one, it probably would be also auto switching, right? Mm-hmm. I would say this is one of the top 5 tools every homeowner should have. It is a great diagnostic tool and also it helps you stay safe.
And how much does it cost?
They start at $11, $11 to $15 is the normal range, but it can go all the way to $100, $150.
But a basic one is fairly inexpensive.
Right, yeah. This, for example, was an $11 one. It's a very inexpensive one. And I used to have a couple, I lost them in the move. Anyway. We hope you enjoyed this short episode and your introduction to a contactless voltage detector. And if you did, we'd appreciate a thumbs up. If you didn't, the other button works as well. Share, like, subscribe. Let us know what else you would like to see in our channels in the future. And from Dr. Wizard, Mrs. Wizard, and the Urban Homesteading channel, farewell, friends. Stay safe, put your masks on, wash your hands, so we can see you again on the weekend with another build.